On the podcast today, we have an absolute rugby legend. We have Duhan Van Der Merwe.
I don't know what it is. I must be waking up and just feeling like scoring tries.
Duhan Van Der Merwe, this is astonishing!
100%. I'm so committed to playing for Scotland, and I'm so happy that, a couple of years ago I've been given the opportunity to do that.
But no, get the cape on. Superman's coming through. Duhan Van Der Merwe with a finish from the heavens.
Well, what was it like in the World Cup playing South Africa?
Came to Edinburgh and did my medical, and I was just said to him, look, my hip's a bit sore, I don't really know what's going on there. Went to go do my medical and failed it. And I was just thinking, shit, where to now? Because normally when you fail your medical, they tear up your contract and that's that. So
Richard Cockrell.
Yeah.
What does he mean to you?
He's the first coach that, gave me an opportunity, actually believed in me, I would say.
Before we start this podcast, if you could do me a huge favor and hit that 5-star button, like button, subscribe button, whatever it is, wherever you are, I'd really appreciate it. My name is Harrison Brown, and this is the Into the Mind podcast. If you're watching or listening, I hope this helps. Okay, right. So much to cover. Honestly, I've been super excited for this. We've got you eventually.
Yeah.
We did it. We made it happen.
It's been a while.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
You've got a super cool new watch on, which I'm sure we'll touch on
Absolutely
soon.
buzzing.
And I suppose the first thing is, where did you grow up? How did it start? Where did rugby begin for you?
I grew up in George, South Africa, a lovely part of South Africa. And I would probably say the rugby started in the back garden with my brother bullying me, with him being 4 years older than me. And I always remember my dad kicking the ball to me and saying, "Oh, if you catch this, then I'll give you 10 rand" at the time, which is 30p or whatever it is now. And I just think my life started for rugby, through my dad and always watching rugby, as a family, always watching rugby on weekends. And, that was probably the main thing I wanted to do growing up. And, all I could think about is, basically live and breathe rugby. And
am I right in saying when you turned 15 years old, there was a period where you're kind of hesitant to continue?
Yeah. I would say up to the age of 13, I felt I was always competitive. And then for some reason at the age of 14, 15, I was quite a late developer, and I just felt like everyone was faster than me, bigger.
Hit puberty.
Yeah, and I was just I'm the small boy. Yeah, I don't enjoy this. And I was actually really good at field hockey. And I remember going into our December holiday at the age of 15, playing rugby for 2 years, under 14s and under 15s, going into that December holiday and saying to my brother, I think I'm gonna make the switch to field hockey because I'm playing in the B team, not really enjoying it. And he actually got me in the gym that December. For some reason, when I went back at the age of 16, I had a lot more confidence in myself. I started getting my speed back. I grew quite a lot in the 1 year as well.
I can see that.
Added some weight as well. And I think, ever since I started playing for the A team, and I actually really enjoyed what I was doing.
And did you always have a good connection with all the players in South Africa?
Yeah. I mean, I've always had a really good connection with everyone. Especially under 16, you play in the Grand Como a week. I played for Southwestern Districts. And then at the age of 17 and 18, played SA Schools. So obviously got to know a lot of players there, Jesse Creel and Malcolm Marks and all these boys. And I was fortunate enough to, in my first year, play for the Baby Box as well. So again, I've played with these boys, 2 years before. So obviously knew all of them. I had a really good connection there. And then, unfortunately, my second year, I was injured. So, I couldn't play.
What was it, a hip injury? Am I right in saying that?
I had actually had two knee surgeries in my first year at the Blue Bulls. And and then I also had 2 wrist surgeries. So, you know, I wasn't fit for the tour. I think it was to Italy or whatever it was. So I couldn't go. But I think things worked out really good for me, because if I went on that tour for the baby box, I wouldn't have been able to play for Scotland, because I think they changed the rule that year. So that meant, you know, I wouldn't have been able to play for Scotland. So things worked out really well.
Yeah. And what made you make that switch? So you're in South Africa, you hit kind of 15 years old. There's this kind of, I was going to say midlife crisis there, but it's not that. But there's kind of a sway towards something different.
Yeah. I guess having an older brother and knowing how the system works is you've got so many young players coming in each year, because that's what most, you know, South African boys want to do, is play rugby. So if you didn't make it within your first, you know, 3 years, I felt like, you know, that was probably going to be me. And because I was injured so much in my first 3 years, I didn't really play a lot of rugby, and I could feel like things were going downhill for me. So I knew that, you know, I had to get out if given the opportunity. So in my 3rd year, I played for Tuck's varsity team, and actually managed to play quite well. And then after that, I got an offer to go to Montpellier in France, and I felt like that was my way to, you know, basically almost like get to know myself a bit again, get my love back for the game, you know, put myself out of my comfort zone and learn some new things from new players, and just giving myself another shot at rugby, because I feel like, you know, things were going downhill pretty fast.
Well, why do you think that was? That there was more injuries at that point? Because at the moment you're
well,
fine.
I actually said this to someone yesterday. I've been really lucky. That's right. So I've had all my surgeries at a very young age of 19, 20, 21, and ever since I've not had a single surgery. So I do it the other way around, where I get it quite early on. But I guess it's pretty tough when you're that age, trying to break into the first team, and you know, you're injured 24/7. You're not getting an opportunity you want. I would probably say, you know, these things happen, but I would probably say at that time of my career, I wasn't really looking after my body, because you're so young, you feel fresh 24/7. You know, you just get on with things. You don't really stretch. You don't do rehab. You don't do these kind of things. And also, I can remember feeling pain in my knees and stuff. But as I said, you know, I only had a small window to break into the first team and make a name for myself. So I was carrying these niggles with me for a year and a half, and I feel like those niggles were holding me back as well, because, you know, I couldn't get up to the speed I wanted to get, and it just takes a massive knock on your confidence.
And those little niggles are the things that definitely turn into shit down the road.
Oh yeah.
Like a lot of the boys, we were talking to Blair as well about this, and he was like, yeah, if you have some tiny little thing in the game, it'll go.
Yeah.
Like that'll be the tipping point for
Yeah.
it to just like snap.
Yeah.
Or what's the worst injury you've had?
Probably my hip surgery. That's an interesting one, because went to Montpellier and got an opportunity to come to Edinburgh, and I actually injured my hip in South Africa. So I've had this hip for a year, and obviously with the language barrier in France, I remember I kept on saying my hip's quite sore, and they were like, nah, you're just stiff. Like, there's nothing wrong with you. And came to Edinburgh and did my medical, and I was just said to him, look, my hip's a bit sore, and I don't really know what's going on there. And went to go do my medical, and failed it. And I was just thinking, shit, where to now? Like, because normally when you fail your medical, you know, they tear up your contract, and that's that. So that was pretty tough one to take, because I didn't really know what was going to happen. And luckily, you know, Edinburgh chucked me a bit of a lifeline, and the rest is history, I'd say.
Richard Cockrell.
Yeah.
What does he mean to you?
He's the first coach that gave me an opportunity. Actually believed in me, I would say, because I remember when they found out about my hip. As I said, normally that'd be you done. Pack your bags and go back. And I remember them, because we didn't do my surgery immediately as well. They made me go through a pre-season, because I've had this hip for a year, so I feel like that pre-season I knew that was basically my test. Do you know what I mean? Because I knew they were like, look, he's been running around with this hip. Like, let him run around with this thing for another 6 weeks. We'll see where he's at, if he's the player for us or not. So I knew that was a massive test for me. So got through the 6 weeks of pre-season, and then afterwards I got my surgery on my hip, and I was out for about 4 or 5 months. I made actually a quick return to play. I was meant to be out for 6 months, but I came back within like 4 or 5 months, and I made my debut, I would say, in South Africa. Yeah, because we had a 2-week tour in South Africa, and made my debut then. And then I was actually fortunate enough to start every single game till end of the season. So I think it was like 15 on the bounce I started, but it was all, I would say, a learning curve as well, because obviously Cockers believed in me, but he always said to me, you've got a few things you have to work on. Obviously, your pace is really good, and you're a powerful man, but there's more things you have to work on your defense, your high balls. Learn how to read the game, how to run off 9, be an option of 10. So I actually had to learn a lot, and fair play to our attack coach at the time, Duncan Hodge. We did a lot of extras, passing, catching after training, and I just felt like that gave me a lot of confidence.
Because I feel like in school, or even late school, if you are a really big guy that can run really fast, you're going to get picked for the team.
You're going to be fine.
You're going to be sound.
Yeah.
But as soon as it gets to that more advanced level, whether that's Edinburgh Club Rugby or the Scotland team, you need to have every single area covered. Yeah. What do you think was your strongest areas versus your weakest at that point?
At that point, I was obviously, I've always been quite quick. My mom forced me to do athletics in school, and I absolutely hated it, but I actually thank her for that now.
Yeah. You're the fastest guy in the team, right?
Yeah, top speed, I would say, yeah.
Blair's got some long legs.
Well, Blair's up there and Dash is up there. It's pretty hard to say. It'll be interesting to see if we do a 100-meter race, who would actually win. So yeah, I think I had the speed, I had the power. I was pretty big. I think I weighed, when I initially came over, obviously being in France for a year, I think I weighed 111 kgs.
Holy
at
shit.
the age of 22, so I was pretty big.
Yeah.
But I couldn't, because I didn't play much, so I couldn't really move that well. To be honest, I'd have one sprint in me, and then I'd be absolutely knackered afterwards. So I had to obviously lose a bit of weight. Yeah. But then there was a lot of other things I had to work on, which was my catching, my passing, my defense, my high ball catching, because of the way we played was a lot different to what I grew up in South Africa. It's obviously warmer weather, so you throw the ball a bit more, and you don't kick as much. Whereas it was a bit different. When you get to November, December, it's pissing it down and it's cold. Then you convert to just kicking the ball a bit more. So that's where I felt like I had to get better.
That's an interesting divide. So in Scotland, there's a lot more of a kicking game than South Africa based on the heat.
Yeah, because it's easier when it's warmer, to chuck the ball around.
Yeah.
And, whereas obviously because it's raining and stuff, your ball handling is really tough. You can't just chuck it around, because if you knock it on, then you basically give possession away. So the easiest thing was just to kick it down there, or kick a contested ball, compete for it, make it a 50-50, and then if you win the battle in the air, you get the ball back.
And how is the transition between the warm to the shit?
Oh, mate. It was pretty tough. I didn't really know what I got myself into. I remember landing in Edinburgh in, I think it was the 17th of June, 2017, and I remember someone saying to me it's summer, but I was like, how is this summer? It's 17, like it's 17 degrees. And I looked at the weather for the next week and I didn't get above 20. And I was like, wait a minute, is this actually summer? So I mean, that was pretty tough.
Yeah.
My first winter was brutal because we had the bees from the east as well. My first year. Yeah,
Pure snow.
Which I actually didn't mind. I was like, obviously the first time I was like, this is absolutely brilliant. But when it kept on going on, I was like sitting in my flat, miserable, you know.
It's dark.
Oh, it's dark, man. So I think that was the most challenging thing, you know, the first year when I moved over. It's just how constantly like dark it is, mate. Like, you know, it starts in November, whatever, and sometimes you get to March and you think, okay, you know, the worst is done, but then you get the bees from the east and like it's still cold. Like especially this season, it's not been great. Like, you know, we're in May and
Shorts and t-shirt for us.
Oh well, for you guys maybe, but yeah, it's not been great. So hopefully, you know, they'll turn around pretty quickly and get some sun.
Yeah. And how mental is it? Or it's quite incredible that someone like Richard Cockerell giving you that opportunity, that changed your life in every kind of way, right?
Yeah.
Because if it wasn't for him...
Well, that was the thing, because I remember speaking to my agent at the time and I was like saying to him, you know, I remember we were sitting down having lunch, you know, waiting to hear back from Edinburgh. And I was just thinking at the time, like, if this doesn't go through, if I get told, you know, they terminate my contract, firstly is where am I going to get a club? Right, because my hip needs surgery. Secondly, who's going to pay for that? So I knew, like, if this doesn't go ahead, then that'll probably be me done, because I don't felt like I haven't achieved enough for, I would say, any club to just take me in and, you know, do surgery on me and give me a shot, because, you know, I was just a young lad at the age of 22. I've not achieved much in my career. So, you know, I'm so grateful for Edinburgh and Cockers, you know, for giving me that opportunity and actually believing in me.
It means a lot to you.
Yeah, and it means a hell of a lot to me. You know, that's what I always feel like. I always want to give back to Edinburgh, and you know, I'm certainly at that age where I always try and help the youngsters out a bit, which I feel is really important. And you know, that's a way of like giving back. And I guess the other way is like by my performances. I always feel like, you know, because the fans have backed me from day one. So it's always when I get on that pitch is, you know, giving it my all for the fans. And I guess another good example is when Worcester went bust, and Edinburgh said they were interested in bringing me back. You know, I didn't even think twice. I think I was back within, Worcester went into administration, and I think I signed at Edinburgh the same day. So I was back within a couple of days. So and I've loved it ever since. Yeah.
So there's like loyalty there, I think, and that's built over a amazing career so far.
Yeah.
Who do you think is your inspiration? Like, who inspired you to start rugby?
I would definitely say my brother. You know, he's probably gone through a bit of a tough time as well. Having loads of surgeries at university he was, and not really getting a lot of opportunities, I would say. I met him at the age of 22, 23, finished up his degree, and he said to me, this is going to be probably my last season of playing rugby, and I'll start working. And he had a storm of a season in the Varsity Cup as well, and he managed to get a shot, and there was a couple of injuries, I think, at the Lions, and he managed to go on the Super Rugby tour with the Lions, like a couple of weeks after he just finished with the Varsity Cup. And that just shows me that, you know, if you keep on believing and keep on working hard, that, you know, eventually you'll get your opportunity. So you know, I always look up to him for someone that, you know, kept on head down and just kept on working hard. And, you know, as I say, like, if you work hard, then anything is possible. So definitely him, because he's then went on to, you know, play a couple of games for the Springboks as well. So yeah, definitely him.
Fast as
mate, for a hooker, it's a joke. He's got these little legs, mate, like little angry warthog, mate. It's only like, he's probably going to want me to say he's 1.8, but he's not. It's like 1.78, 1.79. But he's so quick off the mark. It's a joke. But I would say after 20 meters, there's not much going on. But he's so quick off the mark, and it's just he's obviously a very strong guy. But yeah, we are built so different. Like I'm tall, and he's this short little nugget. But yeah.
No, it's great that you guys have an amazing relationship.
Yeah.
'Cause there's like my brother's kind of the same. You know, we had you know, when you're going through puberty and you're like, I hate my brother.
Yeah.
And then you realize you're quite similar after a while. So it's amazing to see that your brother's kind of like that inspiration and that rock for you in a lot of ways. You were saying he's back in South Africa?
Yeah, so he was came over to play for Cell Sharks for about 4 years, and then when I moved down to Worcester, I actually thought, because we weren't far away from each other, I actually thought I was going to see him a lot more. Was hoping to see him a lot more, but it always worked out that, you know, we would play on the Saturday or Friday, they would play on the Sunday, so we you know, can't really see each other. And then last year, June, he decided to go back to South Africa, to the Bulls, and you know, he's loved it ever since, and he's doing really well, and the Bulls, you know, themselves are doing really well as a team as well. So yeah, he's been loving it being back.
Yeah, I think something that not a lot of people think about when they look at rugby players is the sacrifices that you guys make in terms of moving everything, right? I mean, you're leaving your family behind, you're leaving your house behind, you're leaving your life behind in, let's say, South Africa, and you're moving to Scotland. How was that transition? You know, you're coming into Scotland. Firstly, there's the English barrier.
Oh my.
Like, what was that like?
Man, that was pretty tough. You know, coming over my first year, I didn't really speak much English back in South Africa anyway. So that was firstly very challenging, knowing that, you know, I'm going to have to speak English. But then when I heard the accents of a few lads, I was like, oh, I remember when Rory Sutherland, right, he's from the Borders, when he spoke to me the first time, because he was injured with me as well. I was just thinking, what is this guy saying? Like, man, it gets to a point where, like, you know, when you say, oh, excuse me, and he repeats himself, and the second time you're just like, oh, yeah, man. Yeah, I got you. But you've got no idea what he was saying. So that, again, that was very challenging for me as well. And then the banter, I did not get, man. I was like, these boys hate me. Like, they were just taking the piss out of me 24/7. And I was obviously biting very hard because I wasn't used to it. And I remember losing my head a couple of times. I just thought by myself, you know what, obviously things aren't going great here because these boys don't like me. And I remember, like, it got to a point, like, a couple of months later, we were actually sitting on a bus on an away game, and I had a South African mate that's been in Edinburgh for a while, Cornel Dupree, sitting next to me, and little Duncan Weir he was just always took that, mate, just sometimes took it too far, but I remember he taking the piss out of me, whatever, and I was just sitting there, and Cornel was saying to me, mate, you know what? Firstly, don't bite. Don't just leave it. Let it be. And he was saying to me afterwards, mate, you know what? They actually really like you, and that's why they're doing it. So I must say I've gotten a lot better, and I'm now probably the worst guy for having a bit of banter, to be honest, because I don't really get it, and I absolutely love it when I can see boys really want to bite, or when they do bite, you know, you just get that satisfaction. Because, like I say, I don't really bite anymore. It doesn't really bother me. I just get on with it. So that was also very challenging. And again, you know, moving over to you know, a country I've never been in, obviously with the language barrier a bit, and just completely different in a way, not having the support of my family. Luckily, after a couple of months, I was able to bring my wife over, and that obviously helped me a lot, you know, to get through those, I wouldn't say tough times, but challenging times. And I guess the only other sad thing is, you know, every year I go back, because I don't get to see my family that often. It's quite sad to see that, like, how your mom and dad are, like, getting older, and you're just losing out on that a bit. So that's pretty challenging. So, you know, people sometimes look from the outside and just say, oh, you know, just moved over to play for Scotland, but it's not as easy as it sounds. Like, it's very challenging, and I guess people don't really get that at times. Like, you had to leave everything behind and sacrifice so much. and first you're not guaranteed playing for Scotland anyway. Like, mate, you have to do well for Edinburgh, and then you have to be given an opportunity to play for Scotland. And even when you do, if you don't play well, there's other boys, you'll just get sacked. So it's a lot harder than what people think it is. Oh, just come over, play for Scotland. It's not that easy.
What do you think the toughest point was in your career?
I'd say the toughest point for me in my career was after playing for Edinburgh for 3 years. I knew I was qualified to play for Scotland, and having conversations with Gregor just before that, I was really excited to potentially go on a summer tour with them, because they were touring to South Africa as well. And then and I felt I was like in really good form. I was playing my best rugby ever, and then COVID hit. So that was I would say like pretty challenging for me, because I've worked so hard towards something, after having a bit of a shaky start my first season, and then actually building, getting some real confidence my second on my third season, going to hopefully a summer tour with Scotland, something I've worked towards. And then obviously COVID happened. Not getting that opportunity was pretty tough. But then, a couple of months later, in October, November, I made my debut in 2020, which was brilliant. But my first 10 games for Scotland was in front of no fans.
How weird is that?
No fans, man. That was tough.
How weird is it also on the TV when they were putting synthetic,
hey! Yeah, I know. Well, I saw it afterwards. I was like, I'm pretty sure I didn't really hear that on the pitch. Yeah. Like, you don't hear anything. But I guess at that time of my career, I was just so focused on like just doing my job, and didn't really care about all the other bits, because I was probably so nervous as well, just doing the right thing. And then eventually, when I got the opportunity to play in front of our fans, it was absolutely brilliant. And now every time when I go out, I just take that all in and just have a smile on my face and just really enjoy it.
What impact do you think fans have on the game?
Oh, massive! Like when we at home at Murrayfield, having that support from our fans, it just gives you that extra bit of confidence. You just want to go that extra mile with your teammates. Do it for your teammates, do it for your fans. But then also, like, it's pretty tough when you play away. Like, you play against the French, and their fans just being so loud, and like every call that goes your way is just boo. It's like it's pretty challenging, but that's what gets the best out of you, is like performing in these challenging moments, and as a team coming out top, because like the home team definitely has the advantage with the fans.
Do you think Scotland fans are the most aggressive?
Man, I absolutely love our fans, man. Like, I feel like they're always singing, always cheering us on, or when something doesn't go our way, they're chucking a boo there.
Fucking boo.
Which is brilliant, mate. And sometimes our away travelling support is amazing. I remember playing at Twickenham in 2023, and just hearing so many Scottish fans just gives you that extra bit of motivation, and I mean, it's absolutely brilliant. I love our fans. They're loud. So yeah, never stop. Keep on being loud. Just being you.
We need to talk about the Six Nations. So firstly, I was at the game against England where you scored your hat-trick. Holy shit.
Lucky, mate. All luck.
Do you think? I don't think, like, I think that people consider things lucky, but I believe that luck is hundreds of hours of hard work seen for the first time. Because, like, think about all the stuff you went through in your career, the hard times, the moving to Scotland, leaving your family, the hip replacement, if Richard Cockrell hadn't given you, all these things added up to that moment. Yeah. How did that feel?
Oh, it was amazing. Like, I wouldn't say it was a tough week for me, but it was almost like, I've scored these, like, 2 brilliant tries the year before. The pressure is a bit like on me, and Sione making jokes saying Calcutta Dwayne. He kept on saying that on Friday, just like making a joke about it. So going into the game, I was quite nervous. Like, obviously after scoring that, like just going into the game, just doing my job, not really thinking about actually scoring a try or whatever. It's just making sure that I play my best and not go from the previous year's performance to going down like that. So then again, it comes down to knowing your teammates, and the first one was pretty much just some brilliance from our centers, Sione and Hugh, and he managed to get through the gap, and all I was thinking is just stay close to him for an offload, and I was in the right place.
Take the glory.
And I remember getting the ball, and like the defender in front of me just shifted towards Stainer. Stainer was giving me shit afterwards. He was like, "Why didn't you give that?" I was like, "Man, there was no one in front of me. Like it was open, so I was just going to score it." And then the second one again was just comes down to backing yourself. I saw some space. And I thought,
tiny bit of space.
I know. And I was just like, I'm going to have to, everything I've got, I'm just going to have to get through. And if he tackles me into touch, then, so be it. But again, I just backed myself and managed to score. Luckily, I wasn't out. I think I was that far from being out. I could have probably scored a bit closer, but like Gregor was giving me shit afterwards. Just like, what are you doing? Why are you so close to the touchline? I was like, man, I was just having some fun, He was shitting the bed.
Your body was out and your hand was in.
No, I was like, why did I do that? Probably for the Instagram photo or whatever. And then the third one is just having played with Finn for so long and him being such a brilliant player, you always have to, I wouldn't say be a step ahead, but like always be an option for him, because anything can happen. So I always try and stay close to him. Him putting me away, he always makes this joke, comes up to me, he's like, how many tries do you want tomorrow? Like stuff like that. I was like, hey, 2 would be nice, thanks. And then again, just knowing him, there was some space open. I was from a turnover. Cam made a really good line break, and I remember I was just standing on the touchline, like Finn being like quite far, like 30, 40 meters away from me, and I just like waved my hand like that. And I knew he was going to kick it, and as it kicked it, I was thinking, shit, I'm going to get to the ball, like it's going to bounce out. And somehow it was greasy, man. Somehow it just bounced straight into my hand. I was like, I'm the luckiest man ever, mate. Yeah. And then, I didn't really know it was the first Scotsman to score a hat-trick, which was pretty special.
It's pretty amazing. And Finn Russell is a bit of an anomaly in a lot of ways. Like, he's not like, you're built like a rugby player, right? You're like a big boy. Finn is insanely talented, but he's like, he's like me. He's like a little bit more lanky, and like, by the way, he's incredible. What are your opinions on Finn Russell?
Mate, he's an absolute legend. On the pitch, off the pitch, absolutely love him. He probably doesn't look like a rugby player. It's funny when he's in the gym always giving me shit for not lifting heavy enough, but then he's chilling there with 15 kgs and he's like, do we get out the 70 kgs, mate? Like getting stuck into me. But then again, mate, he's tough as nails. Like he's on defense, mate. Like he puts in some big hits, mate, for that body, and punches well above his weight. I'll give him that. But mate, he's just absolute brilliant rugby player. His rugby brain is unbelievable. I remember coming into my my first year with Scotland, and looking from the outside, people tend to look at him and think, he's a bit more laid back. He doesn't really care, but that's completely opposite. I remember going in and we played Ireland away, and I had dinner at like 6, and he was sitting behind the computers, like analyzing Ireland and like seeing where we can potentially, get line breaks or whatever. Firstly, I was thinking, wow, okay, so this man is really switched on. And then I remember going back at 8:30 for a massage, and he was still sitting there. And I was just thinking, what? Like, I didn't really expect this from this guy, but it just shows how passionate he is, like, playing for Scotland, and how much he loves playing for Scotland.
And the dedication, I think.
Oh, mate, yeah.
People don't see that.
No, that's probably the bits people don't see. Is like, mate, like, you spoke to him the other day. Like, he wants to go on, 2 more World Cups if his body allows it, because he absolutely loves playing for Scotland. I mean, he's just wants us to be the best we can be.
And he's got it in him.
Oh mate, yeah, he's a brilliant player. He was our captain for the Six Nations as well. Him and Dodge, and they're both brilliant leaders. He knows what to say at the right times, but also like when we're not on the pitch, it's about switching off, relaxing, and he's obviously very good at that as well. So.
He's got both sides. Yeah. I saw him at the pub once. He's got both sides.
Yeah, I know. Fair play to him.
Yeah.
He knows when to switch on and when to switch off, so I'll give him that.
And he can, but like that's the thing that people don't see is the kind of effort that goes in behind the scenes. And this is something that I was going to ask you. Social media has obviously become a huge thing, right? Yeah. And you've got TikTok, Instagram, YouTube Shorts. I mean, the list just goes on and on and on. Criticism online. Do you read the comments? Do you ignore the comments? Do you reply to them? What is your kind of take on it?
I'd say I've gotten to the point now where I'll see them and it doesn't really bother me. Whereas potentially when I just started playing for Scotland, I'd look at comments and I'd see a comment being made here and there, like he's not good enough, he's not Scottish, and sometimes these things can get to your head and have a big effect on your performance, because like all of a sudden you've got doubt in yourself, and which is tough to take. But I'm at the point of my career where I just laugh it off, mate, because at the end of the day, like it's all about what my teammates think of me, and if the coaches back me, then I believe in myself, because otherwise they wouldn't back me. Do you know what I mean? And give me an opportunity. So I see these comments and I just laugh it off, because at the end of the day, like you don't even know who's making these comments. It's probably someone that hasn't even played rugby in their life before, like making these comments. And unfortunately in this life, mate, like you can never keep everyone happy. It's just how it is, like and you just have to accept it. But I guess sometimes it's a bit tough on some people like would potentially read more into it, and I can't think that that's nice, especially when you're playing for Scotland and you've got your people, your fans, whatever, making some comments about like why is he starting again? Like we need someone else. He's not been playing well, and you see these kind of things. All you want to do is give your best for Scotland. You're not going to go into a game and not give it your all. And I guess that's what fans and people have to understand. Like you go into the game to give it your all. And sometimes we are human beings. We make mistakes. It's normal. These things happen. Sometimes you have an off day, and yeah, it's not great when you have an off day, because it almost feels like you're letting the team down. So when you have a bad game, it's pretty tough afterwards. But then again, you have to move on so quickly, mate, because you've got a weekend to be like, yeah, I've had a shit game. It is what it is. I've got an opportunity this week to change that, have a better game, and get on with it, mate. Because if you keep on thinking, oh shit, I've dropped the ball last week, like going into this game, like my high balls aren't really good, I'm stressing, I dropped. That's not the right attitude to go into a game. So for me, it's just, mate, don't really look into it, even if I do. But because nowadays you can't escape it. Like, right, it's on Instagram, it's on TikTok, it's on Facebook. I love my Facebook because I always watch Apex or Call of Duty, because I'm a bit of a gamer. So I always look at the best gun. What's the best gun to use? Like these kind of bits, and then you see some podcast or whatever like popping up, and you like see people like chatting stuff about you. And so nowadays, like it's everywhere, mate. Like, I feel like. It all depends from person to person, but myself, I don't really care, mate. It is what it is.
I feel like though, if like people don't need to point out mistakes. Like, see if I make a mistake while recording a video, I know that I've made the mistake, and I would be just as tough on myself as like other people would be on me. Like, are the team quite good for that? Like, if somebody cocks up in the rugby game, which is everyone does it, are they all quite good at being like, listen, you fucked up, you'll get it next time, don't worry about it.
Yeah. I remember I went through a challenging period. Last year, whenever I made a mistake, I'd be head down. I'd be, I'd probably be out of the game for 20 minutes. And, players and coaches started realizing that. And so that was one of the biggest things I had to work on, is like, I'm a human being, I'm normal, I am going to make a mistake, but it's just to move on. And sometimes you have these players around you that can see you, but, head down, I remember we played France in a warm-up game just before World Cup, and I made a mistake and was completely head loss, and made another mistake on top of that. And now I must imagine where my head's at. I'm just thinking, like, someone else come on the pitch because, like, I'm head lost. Like, I might as well not be playing. I remember Finn coming up to me. He's like, Dewey, mate, it's fine. Next job. Have a positive action. And, you know, him coming up to me, I was just like, you know what? Like, we are humans. We are going to make mistakes. It's about next job. It's just getting on with it. And I think that really helped me. Because sometimes it can get quite challenging, mate, when you feel out there alone, making mistakes. And that's why teammates are absolutely brilliant, because they know you. And that's where we as teammates try and help each other out, because when you make a mistake, it's not on purpose, mate. It's like you were trying something, unless it's something really stupid, like, but whatever. But we all make mistakes. So it's about you going up to your teammate, just patting him on the back and saying, you know, mate, like, sometimes just laugh it off. Yeah. It's like, mate, come on, next job. You know what I mean? So that's a nice thing about, like, being in a team sport.
And it's a good attitude to have. I think, especially when it's coming from, like, Finn Russell has these moments where he's clearly trying something that's never been done before. And he has no idea whether it'll work. And, like, normally, because it's Finn,
he probably pulled it off, mate.
And everyone's like, how the fuck did you do that? But then there's stuff that's out with your... This is what I was going to ask you. There's sometimes things that happen within a game that's out with your control, and it can be quite demotivating. For example, the France try that was allowed in the Six Nations. What are your opinions on that?
That was a tough one to take, because I felt we were pretty much in control of the game up to about 60, 65 minutes. I thought, you know, we've got this one in the bag, and then for some reason we stopped playing, and France put us under pressure. They managed to score at the end, and we knew that we had to score next. And at the end of the day, the ref's decision is his decision. I remember at the time was absolutely fuming, but the ref's only going to make the decision on what he sees and what he feels. So, like, you talk to Sam Skinner, and he was like, "Oh, mate, definitely got it done." But at the end of the day, the pitches aren't clear for the refs to make that decision. And you just, like, thinking, if we beat France, all of a sudden we 2 from 2 and full of confidence, because we felt like we potentially were the better team on the day, and we should have probably closed the game earlier, but we let him back in, and that's all on us. But I guess the toughest thing was having a couple of days off, because we had a bye week after France. Sitting with that, like, seeing it everywhere on social media, and you're just like, oh, what could have been? Do you know what I mean? And that was very challenging to take, because, like, you can see clearly the ball's down, but obviously they see different pictures. So that was very tough.
It's hard on the ref as well, because as you said, like, they have one line of sight. I was in the pub that day with the guys, and everyone was going ballistic.
Yeah, because the ball's done.
You
can see it there. Come on there.
Yeah,
like, we could see it as well. So it's tough, because, like, pictures is there for us. You can see it, but then the ref probably sees a different picture or doesn't really agree with it, and then all of a sudden you're like, but how can you make that call when the pictures for us is clear? And
he changed his decision as well. Like, he went, oh no, that's disallowed, and then he went, actually,
wait a
the
minute.
footage.
So that, I guess, because it took so long as well, like, it could have come down to a try or no try. I think if it was a quick decision, then probably wouldn't
like ripping the plaster off.
It wouldn't have been so tough. But I think because I kept on going back and forward, it was a pretty tough one to take. And then again, like, obviously refs have to make the right decisions, but shame they actually get a lot of stick, mate, and a lot of you could see over the last couple of months, like, all the abuse the refs are getting, because at the end of the day, like, they want to make the right decision, but again, you're not going to keep everyone happy. So, like, it's pretty tough on them, mate, to be honest. Like, it's tough on players as well when the decision doesn't go your way, but at the end of the day, it comes down to them making that decision. So I don't want to be in those shoes, to be honest.
And just as a player makes a mistake, so can a ref. So it's like we're all human. Do you think this is the best? In my opinion, it is. But in your opinion, is this the best Scotland team squad we've seen ever?
Yeah.
From what I can see, it is.
I mean, hearing from Scotland fans that's been supporting Scotland for 30, 40 years, them saying like this is the best squad we've had in a very long time. And I think as players, we know that we've got a really special squad, but it's about starting to win some things because time's not standing still. Like everyone's getting older, and I think we know that the squad doesn't have a lot of opportunities left. So it's about going into the next Six Nations and just giving us like our all because, as I said, mate, everyone's getting older, and unfortunately, like when you get obviously a bit older, you're not in your prime anymore. You're not as good as you used to be. So
recovery is longer.
Oh, mate, everything is just your body's sore for ages. I guess as an outside back, you start losing some speed and stuff. So we know we've got a really special group, and our environment's brilliant. I love going into camp. My missus probably doesn't like it that much because I'm away a lot. But mate, absolutely love it. So I think that's something we spoke about after losing against Ireland. It's like, look, boys, like the squad's probably got like a couple of opportunities left, but we have to make it happen. We have to start winning things. We can't always just speak about like winning things. We have to start making it happen. Hopefully we can win something pretty soon.
A lot of it's confidence led though, and I think that after this Six Nations, you guys will be filled with confidence, surely. Because I mean, let's say that France try was disallowed.
Yeah.
The confidence would have been a lot higher than it was because it would have been a lot more difficult to win it at that point, right? So like if you had won that France game, which in my opinion should have been allowed, I think your confidence would have been a lot higher.
Yeah, 100%, mate. You then go all of a sudden you go into your third game and your confidence is a lot higher.
Yeah.
But then again, we beat a very good England side again, so like you should be full of confidence. But I think in the back of your head, you're still thinking, what could have been? Like you look at the log and you're thinking, if we won that game, we're 3 from 3. So you go back to that, which is tough because people say you just have to move on and get on with it. But that loss has a big effect on, where you're sitting on the table. So, things could have been completely different. But then going into that England game, I thought we played really well and against a really quality England side, and managed to get the win there, which was massive for us. Keeping us in it to win the Six Nations, and then unfortunately we lost against Italy. Probably weren't at our best, but fair play to them, credit to them. They've been growing as a squad, and they are a really good side. They're not the Italy you're just gonna walk over. That's changed.
Yeah, it's massively changed.
It's massive, mate, and a really quality side. So it just shows you when you're not on it on the day, like it's not the old Italy where you're just gonna walk away with a win. Like they're gonna punish you and they're gonna beat you. And unfortunately, we saw that and we lost. And I guess the tough one about the loss against Italy was that England went and beat someone. I can't remember who it was. So if we were going to beat Italy, it would have been a lot easier for us to win the Six Nations because England did us a favour. And then we lost. And then obviously, you go into the Ireland game and you have to beat them by, 40 points or 50 points, which with a bonus point, which is, it's a tough task, but we believe that if we do get it right on the day, that there's a possibility of potentially doing that. But they're an unbelievable side, and I would say we obviously lost against them, but I'd probably say that was probably some of the best rugby we've played.
Yeah,
I thought we were unbelievable. Our defense has been the best it's ever been, especially against Ireland. I thought there was parts of our games that's really good.
And the amount of times you were on the line, and I was like, holy shit.
I know. We were there so many times, and unfortunately, when you don't get it right against a good quality team, yeah, they're going to turn you over, and they managed to do that. But again, it was a pretty tough game, because it could have come down to anything in the last couple of minutes, and it would have been a special away win for us there. And I think especially coming back into camp, you come into Six Nations or summer or November test with a lot of confidence, knowing that you've potentially beaten Ireland away.
Mm-hmm. When you go up against England, is there an added sense of tension against that team? Like, there's always this, for whatever reason, there's a Scotland-England thing. There always has been. As a South African, like going on to that team, are you thinking, is there the same electricity?
Yeah, mate. Like, it's there's two things. The first is, when I came to Edinburgh, right? I wasn't even here for a week. The first thing they spoke about was playing against Glasgow, 1872 Cup. Like, and that week, everyone hates each other. Like, we don't like them. Like, we hate them. Like, it's all this, and I'm just thinking, like, obviously I don't know the Glasgow guys at all, so I'm just thinking, wow, boys are hyped up for this. Like, all right, here we go. And I think, as time went on, like, I'm probably the same. I remember we played Glasgow this year away, and me and Piers Koeman, we said to each other on the bus, we always sit next to each other. I don't know why I sit next to him, because, like, I'm sitting like this for an hour on the way to Glasgow, and he's just sitting like that. But anyway, I remember we said to each other, like, we're not going to speak to the Glasgow boys before the game. We're going to look them in the eyes, like, we're not Mr. Nice Guys here today. Like, we come here to do a job. I remember after the game, like, boys were like, "What's up with you, mate? Like, like, why were you like that?" I said, "Oh, mate, sorry, I just, really wanted to win." And so obviously we've got this rivalry against each other. So it's the same with, like, it's just a different feel to it. Like, when we play England, like, everyone's a lot more, like, switched on, like, hyped, like, obviously playing for the Calcutta Cup and being that, like, rivalry over the last couple of years. So, and going into that game, it's a really special week, and it's a week you do want to be a part of, because, as I said, it's just so special. And if given the opportunity to play against England, you're just always going to give it your all. And I was probably the lucky one to score a couple of tries over the last couple of years. So,
tasted even sweeter against England. Well, what was it like in the World Cup playing South Africa? For you,
it's a
weird one.
Yeah, it's a bit of a weird one. I try not look into it too much, and going back to the fact that I grew up there. I didn't really make it over there. Like, going into the game with hate, like, I don't want to do that. Because I feel like that just adds extra pressure, and I want to be as relaxed as I can going into the game, and playing against players that I played with, and SA Schools and Baby Box and those kind of things. But we knew that that's going to be a very challenging game because of the big men, physical.
They're humongous,
and they know how to win, mate. They probably don't play the most attractive brand of rugby at times, but the way they play is effective. So, yeah, I think we went into halftime leading, or it was very close or something. So, I genuinely thought, like, this is it. Like, we've got a shot. Yeah, this is it. And when they brought up their bomb squad, that wins them games. Things got a pretty tough, and they started kicking for 3 points, and you're just under the pump 24/7, mate. These big men coming around the corner, and, like, they're a pretty tough team to beat, mate. So yeah, but like I said, like, I don't want to go into the game too emotionally about, like, because I don't have any wouldn't say hate's the word, but bad
animosity,
vibes, about what's happened. I don't look at it that way. Like, I'm looking at the way, like, I'm very blessed and fortunate and privileged to be given the opportunity to play for Scotland, and it's something that I absolutely love doing, and I can't thank them enough for the opportunity. And yeah, mate, I absolutely love it. So that's the way I look at it. It's about giving back and giving my all to a club and a country that's given so much to me.
That's an amazing way of looking at it. I'm sure there would be a lot of people out there that would have a degree of kind of spite to them, but it's probably a lot more peaceful to say, no, like these things happen as it should be. I'm playing for Scotland. It's fine. So do you know a lot of people?
And I wouldn't want to have it the other way, to be honest. Like, I've got a lot of people that ask me, oh, would you? No, I wouldn't. 100%, I'm so committed to playing for Scotland, and I'm so happy that, a couple of years ago, I've been given the opportunity to do that. Because you see, because nowadays you can, if you don't play for your country for 3 years, you can change. But that's something I would never do.
That's pretty good. I'm sure there've got a lot of Scots just took that. They're going to hold it against your name.
I'll be too old, man. I'm 28 now. I'll be 31 then.
So yeah, a lot of players in the South African squad though. So and there was no spite. There was just and after the game, I'm sure there was a lot of hugs and stuff.
It's about catching up. Again, on the pitch, you obviously gonna have a go at each other. That's just how rugby works. But then afterwards, especially some of the older guys that played with my brother at Sale, like Faf de Klerk and these guys. I got to know them when my brother was actually playing at the Lions, Sharks, and Sale Sharks. So I get to know these guys as well, and obviously a couple of jokes here and there. But then afterwards, mate, you have a beer with them, you catch up, and
I was talking to Blair about this as well. Like, there's a thing about aggressive sport that weirdly brings people together because you leave it all on the pitch, right? You look at these UFC fighters that break each other's face for 10 minutes, and then they're drinking after it.
I know.
Is there a select team that after the game you always go for drinks with them? Like, is it the English boys you all go for drinks?
Oh man, it's just sometimes you can see on the players' faces and what kind of mood they are in. Sometimes, when a team loses against you, like, okay, well, probably not going to go into the changing room there because you can see the mood's very down. I'm probably just going to stay away. But then sometimes when you play against a team and it's one of your very good mates, you two will probably, go alone and catch up and have a beer, whatever. But yeah, sometimes it's one of those where you have to look at okay, what vibe are these guys in? Like, are they going to have a beer? Like, should we wait for them to come over? Or do we go over? So
I go on the playground.
Yeah, so it's a bit you have to be smart, and when you do it, and because sometimes obviously teams aren't too happy about the result, and basically just say leave me alone, mate. Not happy, but
what is the proudest moment for you so far?
There's probably two. Is making my debut for Scotland against Georgia, and as I said, it's something I've worked towards over 3 years, and I think that was a very, very special day for me and my family, and it's something I'll always remember. Especially as I mentioned, going through tough times and then actually giving the opportunity and managing to score on my debut as well was pretty special. And then the second one was, going on the Lions tour. I didn't really think, that would possibly happen because at the time I only played, I think, 8 games for Scotland. So I was like, I'm still pretty new into the system. Don't really know if they're going to give me a shot or not. And I was actually pretty nervous because I felt like I actually had a really good Six Nations that year, 2021, because it was my first Six Nations as well, and managed to be top try scorer. So I thought, maybe I'd have a shot. Yeah, I don't know. But I remember going home. A few boys watched it at the club. And I was like, if I don't see my name here, then at least I'll be home. Like, take it all in. and if I do see my name, then I'm with my wife and I'll be able to call my family. So I think seeing my name there, just sitting back on the couch and mate, just being in tears, just taking it all in is probably a moment I'll never forget. And having my wife there, it was just so special.
Yeah, emotional for you.
Yeah, very emotional because, like I said, having gone through so much in my career, and and getting to the point where I get selected to go on a tour with the Lions is absolutely brilliant, mate. Special.
It's a huge. That must be such a huge thing for you, just in terms of like you've got the hip injury, you then need to move country, you then don't know whether you're going to get selected, and then all of a sudden Lions team.
Yeah, I know.
That's
I
wild.
was like mental. I was like, how has this happened? Like I couldn't believe it. Yeah, mate. And again, it's probably all comes down to putting in the hard work at tough times, and because I was fast and pretty strong. I couldn't catch a ball for shit, genuinely. But boys are probably gonna still say I can't catch a ball. I had no skills whatsoever. I still don't have any much skills, but I know what I'm good at, so I just stick to that.
Just run through.
Yeah. Man, that was pretty special. And then obviously going to South Africa. It's pretty special, but then again, there was no fans, so that's something I feel like I've missed out on, is seeing that sea of red, which I didn't get to experience. So
You will.
Hopefully, mate. We'll see.
And is your wife, she's being a big support for you?
Yeah, 100%, mate. She always has my corner and backs me up. She's always there when I've not had a good game or we've lost. I know I can go home and she'll be there for me, and vice versa when we win. She loves having a couple of drinks with me as well, because I love having a couple of pints with my mates after a good win. It's just how I am. That's why me and Hamish Watson are like that. We both love a pint afterwards. But she has a massive impact on my career. So much that I actually didn't really think what a big impact she has on my career. I was going through a period with Edinburgh, November, December, where I wasn't really playing that well. I was okay, and I remember we played Glasgow at home in the 1872 Cup. I was walking down the stairs, and she never does this, and she was like, she said something to me along the lines of like, you better have a good game today and get involved and enjoy what you're doing and score a couple of tries and show who you are. And I remember that stuck with me. I got in the car and I was like, wow, okay. So she doesn't really know what a big impact she has on my career. And it's obviously brilliant having her support there, because that actually like just filled me up with like, all right, let's get stuck in. You know what I mean? So it's absolutely brilliant having her by my side.
Who are you closest with on the Scotland team? Hamish
Watson.
Yeah. He's a funny guy.
Oh man, I love him. We get on so well, because I feel like we're very similar in a way that we, basically train hard, play hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So now we love a pint afterwards. And I've very good mates with Hamish. Probably say all the boys, but when there's a let's go for a beer, then
you're the guys.
I'll probably message Hamish, Blair, and Sione just to see what they're up to. It's been, because Hamish has been my roommate for 3 years now, so so I've had to find a new roommate, obviously with him not being there. It's fine. I'm getting chucked around here and there,
passed around.
So I've actually been with Blair, but then he got sent home because of his knee, and then
because Blair normally goes with Adam Hastings, doesn't he?
Yeah,
Hastings was
because he wasn't there, and then I think I was with Hugh Jones once as well. And And then I've actually been very lucky. I don't think anyone wants to be with me. So it's coming down to like me having my own room now, which is absolutely brilliant. I love it. And they're all like, how does Dewey get his own room? And I'm just like, you guys don't want to be with me, probably. That's why. No, all jokes aside, but
yeah. And last question on the Scotland team before we got into your watch, because I need to ask you about it. Who is the up-and-coming young talent? Because I know that Harry Patterson played.
Yeah.
By the way, 22 years old. What the hell?
Yeah, I know.
And he had such a good game.
Yeah, mate, he was brilliant. I would probably, if I look at the squad, when I look at the squad, I'll probably look at Harry Patterson, mate, because he, you know what, fair play, mate. He's never played an international game in his life, right? He finds out on Saturday morning, you're starting against France. Not coming off the bench, you're starting. Like, and having the game he had, mate, you know what, hats off, fair play. He had an absolute stormer. He's got a lot of talent. Me and him, we've got a bit of a weird relationship. We're very much like that. I'm probably a bit too tough on him, but I think I've calmed down a bit more now. So yeah, no, he's a brilliant talent. He's obviously been injured quite a lot, so for him that's quite annoying because he's quite young. All he wants to do is play games because at that age, that's the only way you're going to get better. But I definitely look at someone like him and think, he's got it all because he can cover. He can obviously cover fullback, he can cover wing. So no, he's a bright talent.
Yeah. I just thought as a 20, like I remember myself at 22, I was an absolute idiot. Like I was just a moron. And then he's playing for Scotland, having the game he did.
Yeah.
Just the age thing's just, it's just wild.
No, mate. But it comes down to, mate, it's being able to make that switch.
Yeah.
Like imagine how much stress he had going into the game.
Yeah.
You're 22, right? Has he played more than 10 games for Edinburgh? Probably not.
Yeah.
Like, he's not played a massive amount of rugby. He's actually not been involved that much that week with the team, like learning our plays, our moves, like, what do we do? So waking up and getting told, look, mate, you're starting. And by the way, this is all the moves we're doing. Nailing all that.
Yeah.
And then having the game you had. Like, hats off. Fair play, mate. Genuinely.
Absolutely. There's a ton of questions that have been fired in from listeners. Yeah. Which are funny questions, by the way. Yeah. But we need to talk about your watch first. So
let's go for it.
I know that Breitling obviously sponsor the Six Nations, which is epic. Did you see Hamish's watch?
I did.
Super cool, right?
Very jealous.
Very jealous.
Must be so nice having that. What a privilege. And I actually showed me, mate. He bragged a bit. He was just rubbing it, and it's like, oh, Dewey, look at my new watch. I was like, oh, mate, you know what? Stunning. Love it.
The fact that he, it has obviously the Scotland logo.
Yeah.
I think watches
so special. How many do they make?
150
of the
only limited
lucky.
Edition. So lucky.
Yeah.
And it has obviously the Scottish emblem on it for the Scotland team. But I think that watches are a super amazing way to celebrate a milestone,
100%,
right?
Yeah.
So every milestone I go through, I always get a watch, and it's become a bit of a problem, right?
Yeah, it is.
So you've got the Breitling. Is that the top time? BO1?
BO1. Yeah, mate. The Ford Mustang.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it because I feel like I've got a couple of different watches at home, and they're all stainless steel or gold or whatever. I feel like this is an everyday watch for me.
Yep.
But then at the same time, it's that classy that I can wear it at an event. And I absolutely love the brown leather strap. And obviously the green dial, the green face is super cool, man. I love it. Yeah. And I obviously going to show you the back of the watch, but you've seen it before. Well, you've got it Breitling yourself, so So
green dial, I suppose that's South Africa, right?
Yeah, well, same colors as that. Which is pretty cool. So, I can always look back at, South Africa when I've got this watch on, and makes me remind me of my family and stuff. So which is pretty cool. And yeah, man, I think it's a brilliant watch.
Getting older is realizing the watches are actually really cool.
Yeah, mate, 100%. And now, like, having this watch, it'll always remind me of like the Six Nations we had. It's like you say, it's always like celebrating like small moments.
Sentimental.
100%. Like your wife asking you for a watch when she's turning 30, you know, like stuff like that. You want to forget about.
Yeah. So this is interesting. You were saying that. So this is the Breitling Chronomat GMT.
Yeah.
And this is actually my brother's watch. But I steal it from him all the time.
Did you?
I steal it from him all
What's
the time.
he saying? Does he even know you've got it yet?
No, he doesn't know. But
well, he will know. He will know now. So,
like the reason that I love this kind of stuff, or especially like watches in general. Firstly, there's the sentimental bit.
yeah,
But also like there's so many different types. There's so many different styles. Like you like leather straps.
Yeah.
Because I suppose that's comfortable for you. But I'm always like rubber strap.
Yeah.
So the reason I love this is because of the rubber strap.
Yeah.
Because it's black. The blue dial, like baby blue, it brings out the
very
blue
nice. Yeah.
so much more.
Yeah.
And then I didn't know if you know this, but GMT. So you have that blue GMT hand there. Do you see it?
Yeah.
That means you can read multiple time zones at the one time.
Oh yeah.
So if you're getting another watch, and you're traveling to South Africa, it might have to be a GMT.
Yeah. Probably have to be a GMT. Just make it easier.
Exactly.
But no, mate, it's brilliant. Like I said, I love the color. Probably have to be a bit more tan for the color to pop. I don't know what you would look like with this. No, but I like the brown leather strap, and yeah, I think it's an absolute brilliant watch.
Yeah, and I think you started an addiction there. See, once you go,
oh well, that's the issue now.
Yeah,
because I love that, and I saw the other ones, the one that's a bit like blue. Yeah, like I'm immediately thinking about Scotland, so I was like, both are very nice, and the one with the white face as well. Yeah. But Hamish had I think the one with the white face that was limited edition again. Yeah. And he obviously came up to me and bragged about it again. I was just like, yeah, mate, brilliant. I'm going to nick that off you.
Yeah. I think they're just such a, in terms of them supporting the sport as well, because they're obviously the Six Nations sponsors. I suppose that means a lot more to you as well, because Six Nations, they've sponsored it, and then obviously you've got one now. So it's like, you always think of that moment, right?
100%, mate. That's why, whenever I put this on, I'll always think about my 2024 Six Nations campaign, and this watch will always remind me of that. And like you said, you've probably started addiction now, because now that I've got this one, probably when I'm gonna have more. So
lots of different colors. Yeah. Well, this is more of a funny segment, right?
Yeah.
And this is the first time we've ever done this. Yeah. But a lot of our Instagram followers, listeners have fired a lot of questions in, and also I've peppered in some of my questions.
Oh, right? Yeah, we go.
So, obviously, within the Scotland team, there's a lot of chat about Hairlines, which is just hilarious, right?
I'm holding on for dear life.
So am I.
I'm genuinely. You want to go to Turkey together?
Yeah, we can.
Let's do it, mate.
I might need a couple of trips, but we'll do it.
Oh, mate, the amount of time I spend in the morning to make sure, it probably takes me about 10. Oh, mate, it takes me about 10 minutes. I kid you not. So yeah, there's a few other boys I get stuck into. Yeah. But the easiest one for them is either give me shit about my little legs, chicken legs, or whatever, or my hairline. And then normally with the hairline, I've got nothing back to say. I'm just sitting there like,
you're like, yeah, I know.
It's pretty tough, especially when you hear it from your wife as well. Like, oh no.
Who do you think has the worst hairline on the Scotland team?
Oof, worst hairline. Right, let me have a think.
Blair's got a beautiful head of hair.
He does, but he complains about it. He's got a deep corner in here and always complains about it. He's like, mate, look at me, it's so bad. I was like, mate, the way you wear your hair forward, you're never going to expose yourself, right?
Yeah, you're hiding it all.
I'm exposing myself, man. I'm pushing it back, which is the issue. But if I have to... Right, let me have a think. Mate, there must be a few bad boys, right? Ben White.
White.
Mate, Ben White uses the side of his hair and pushes it all forward like this to cover it up. Definitely Ben White. 100% Ben White.
I'm on Ben White's page, to be fair.
Yeah, mate. Just using the side to cover it up.
Massaging my temples.
Yeah, no, Ben White.
Ben White. And who has the best hair in the Scotland team?
Best hair. Probably Hugh Jones.
Oh, Hugh Jones has a fantastic head.
Oh man, it's got the best. Like, it's not receding, it's thick, it's full. Like, you can do anything with his hair. It's brilliant. And yeah, I wish I had his hair anyway.
There's a question from Hey, it's Leon on Instagram, who says, "Who is the dirtiest team to play internationally?"
Dirtiest team, like always wants to have a scrap and
It might be England, I suppose, because there's the the kind of like stress of it.
I never think, mate. Dirtiest team, probably Nowadays you can't get away with anything, so that's a pretty, you know what I mean.
It's quite a tough thing.
Yeah, because like you do anything now, you get penalised. I guess, having that rivalry against England, it's probably, against England because we're always like clashing.
But again, that's like just part and parcel of the occasion, right?
Yeah.
Because obviously, right, it's always going to be Scotland, England's always going to be the huge clash.
Yeah.
So I suppose tensions are going to run higher.
Yeah.
But the good thing about rugby is like after the game, do you want to get a pint?
Yeah.
Let's just chill out.
Yeah.
Joanne Patterson 2513 says, "Are any of the Scotland team vegan?"
No one.
No, they all like the chicken.
I've tried it I watched this show on Netflix. What was it called? About
Is it Seaspiracy?
about going like vegan. It's gonna break me. It came out 3 years ago. Anyway, man, I actually did it for a month.
Yeah.
And to be fair, like I felt brilliant, but the issue was the amount of like chickpeas and lentils and stuff I had to eat just to cover up the protein was mental, man. I had to non-stop eat, and I did that for a month. And you know what? I actually felt really good about myself, but I was just thinking, man, I can't keep on doing that.
Yeah.
Especially when I go back to see my dad in South Africa and he's got the barbecue going, he'll probably think, "Are you my son? Like, why aren't you having meat?
Who are you?
Yeah, who are you?
What has Scotland done to you?"
No, so I can't, no one.
What's the dietary like requirements for the team? Do they have like you on a strict diet, or do you just eat whatever you want?
Being in a international setup, you have to be able to make the right decision, right? So you're not going to have someone, I guess with some of the forwards you get told, maybe don't have as much carbs or, but I think it's each their own, mate. Like, I mean, I'm fortunate enough to just eat what I want. So I'm very lucky regarding that. But nah, mate, it's just all they want you to do is probably have your protein shake after a gym just to get some protein in. And then they probably want you to look after yourself a bit, like don't have donuts and stuff on the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. But then the thing I love about the forwards, like Pierre Schoeman and Xander Fagerson, is that it's always their excuse. 24 hours before a game, they go mental. They just eat whatever they want, mate, because it's their excuse of like, "Oh no, mate, I'm just I'm carbo loading for game day." You know, I was just like, "Yeah, mate, right."
Sure you are.
So yeah, I've been with Pierre a couple of times where carbo loads for a game, and that's a lot of food, mate, for the play.
Who is the most intimidating player you have played? Like, see if they were running at you, you'd be like, "Oh no,
oh no, mate, oh no." That I've played against.
Because I know that Blair said his was Albert Tuasi.
Yeah, who I've played against. It's probably someone I've not played against. Is Joshua Tuisova.
Is he huge?
Mate, do yourself a favor. He plays wing or center. Do yourself a favor. Go have a look afterwards. Mate, he's not that tall. He's quite short. He's very short, actually. But he's built like... Mate, he doesn't have a net. He's built like that. And he's quick. He's got good feet. So I would probably say, when the day comes going up against him, I'm probably going to be like, shit.
I do not want to.
No. So yeah, definitely him, I would say.
That's a good answer.
Yeah.
Big Alb was...
Oh, mate, he's a big man. Mate, he chased me down. I remember playing Fiji, mate, and there was some space. down the left-hand side, and I got the ball from Finn or whoever, and he was just like hovering like to my right, and I was like, nah, surely I've got him. And he's an eighth man, mate. He's like, and he got me. I was like, mate, some athlete, like, and he's big. Oh man.
Yeah.
Now, fair play to Fijians, mate. They're quite scary. Very good rugby players as well.
Blair was saying that like off the pitch, Fijians are just the nicest players.
Oh mate, yeah.
But on the pitch, they'll try to kill you.
Yeah, mate. Like it's like playing with Bill Mata. I'm like, I do not want to be playing against him. Like, mate, he's a big man. He's skillful. Like, imagine having to tackle 100. He probably lies about his weight as well. Like, he's probably 120 something. He'll probably say he's lighter than that. But imagine tackling that at that speed he's running. Nah, I'm good, mate. Thanks. I'll just chill on the wing. Happy.
So Colin Matchin 76 says, "What's the best game you have ever played in?"
The best game I've ever played in. There's been a couple, mate.
It's too many to count.
Yeah, but there's been. Let me think about. The best game I've played in is probably because of the piss up we had afterwards. Is when we beat France away in 2021 for the first time in, I mean, how many years was it? It was something mental. And Adam Hastings chucking the ball over the top to me in the 84th or 83rd minute, and, you know, managing to score was obviously pretty special. And I just remember the team going mental in the changing room afterwards, and just having such a good time afterwards with your teammates and coaches. And that's always a game I will always remember. Yeah, 100% that one.
Is there any funny stories you can tell about the boys after a game, or are they all? 18,
Yeah, we can't go there. I'm going to be chucking someone under the bus here. So, yeah,
Fair enough.
story for a different day.
There's a funny stigma around, like, especially in Edinburgh. There's this really weird stigma around rugby players where they're like, everyone's kind of like, oh, they're a rugby lad, like, oh, a bit dangerous. They're kind of. All the rugby guys I've met are so lovely.
Yeah, I don't know. People have this perception, I think, about like, oh, there's the rugby boys. Like, watch out, they're quite aggressive. Because sometimes you go out at a nightclub, whatever, somewhere else, like maybe abroad or whatever, and like they find out you're rugby players, and all of a sudden the bouncers don't want to let you go in. And I'm just thinking, why is that? Like, are you like thinking we're gonna cause a fight, or
you just fought for an hour on the pitch?
Yeah, like, man, so chill. That's the last thing I want to do. Like, I just want to be in here, like having a beer with my teammates, and just enjoying it, mate. But yeah, it's just weird that people have this perception about rugby players. Like, I think it's probably because, you know, some of us are like big men, and you know, on the pitch you look like, oh, I'm gonna absolutely kill someone, but that's just only for 80 minutes on the game. Afterwards, when I'm too knackered to do anything, like, I just want to have a pint and have a good laugh with my mates.
Yeah. And Jim Hamilton. On that note, Jim Hamilton, what are your thoughts on him? His podcast is amazing.
Yeah, mate. His podcasts are amazing. I see him actually traveling the world, you know, interviewing some of the best rugby players in the world. He's always on holiday. Fair play to you, Jim. But no, his podcasts are brilliant. You know, I've spoken to him before. Very chilled guy, and man, he's doing really well for himself.
He's super quick with his. We've done some interviews with him, and quite a lot of the time with the rugby gents, like it's weird being on camera, right? So like a lot of the time it takes a couple of takes. And we got Jim in and we were like, listen, you've got an hour because I know that it might take a while. Nailed it first time, and I was like, what the hell? He's such a smooth talker.
Oh mate. Fair play, man. I'll be like, take 2, take 3, shit, sorry. And then, you know, when you get to the 4th time, you're like, oh no.
It's getting awkward now.
Yeah. Can I leave, please?
Martin Perry 94 says, who's the one player you wish you were?
The one player?
Finn. It must be Finn.
Must be Finn, mate. It's just having that rugby brain is like, he's got so much going on, right? Organizing the forwards, like speaking to your centers, seeing space, and executing it, mate. And he does it really well. And he's just, he's so relaxed. Always has a smile on his face, and just loves what he does. And I'd love to obviously have that body and play that well and be paid that much. So fair play, mate. Fair play.
Yeah, he's just so talented. What are your hobbies outside rugby? You play golf, don't you?
Yeah, I play a bit of golf. I actually lost my love for it. Being the competitive person I am, I played a lot of golf and was reasonably okay. 15 handicap, so I can get around. Just off the tee, I go OB a lot, so that it's not great for the scorecard. But then I started getting golf lessons, and I think I started taking it too serious.
Yeah,
and I completely lost my love for it, mate. So I got like a couple of golf lessons, and I just couldn't get better. And I actually stopped playing for 8 months. So I started playing on Thursday again, which I actually really enjoyed. So I'm hoping that, that's me back into it. Yeah. When the weather is nice, obviously. And then other than that I'm a bit of a gamer.
Is it Warzone? What do you play?
Yeah, well, I only started playing Warzone, Rebirth Island, it's called, the last, because they've got this new mode out that's called like a ranked mode.
Right.
So you can like compare yourself against other teams. Like you start off at bronze, and then you start off with like, for your deployment, you start off -5, and as you get higher, like you get bronze, you get silver, gold, platinum. Like you start off at -45, so you have to get like X amount of kills to be able to get some positive points. The other one, no man, it's a lot detailed. But, the other one is Apex. I've probably played Apex since. You played Warzone in lockdown.
COVID, yeah. That was all we did.
Mate, it was absolutely brilliant, right? Yeah. And then when they brought out Warzone 2, I was like, what? Like, you've basically screwed the game up completely. And then I stopped playing. Then I started playing Apex, which I really enjoyed. The missus doesn't always love it, because sometimes it can go from, I only play an hour to like 2-3 hours. Yeah. And it's obviously not good for my back because I'm just sitting like that.
Hunched over.
Mate. So I would probably say, that's my two hobbies.
Yeah. Gaming, I love gaming. You know what? It came at such a good time during COVID.
Mate, brilliant.
Because everyone was going like mental by themselves. I remember, and I was the same as you. In COVID, I like set up a makeshift TV. Yeah. I was hunched over it. I didn't have a headset, so I would like Skype my friends.
Oh yeah.
So like I have all my friends here on Skype on a laptop, and then we'd be playing. And the laughter we had in COVID is so good.
Oh man, it was absolutely brilliant. Like I love that. Actually, that time because I was playing so much Call of Duty, mate, and again, like I got that. I was playing on my what was it, PS4 maybe.
Yeah.
I got so competitive that I had to buy myself a PC. And I even got more competitive and started to hack.
You hacked it?
I got hacked, mate. So
you modded your PS4?
No, so I got myself PlayStation 4, and I was like, I have to be better. Like my KD has to be 2. Then I got myself a PC. And then I was like, well, I've got a PC now, so I can start hacking now. So I started having what you would call walls, and you can just like see everyone through walls. So I always knew when everyone was coming like around the corner, whatever. And I got banned after a couple of months. So it's probably the reason I stopped playing as well. But it was quite funny.
It is mental how you like people can mod just not to die. So you'll be like shooting them and you'll just be like, what?
Yeah,
am I shit?
Mate, there's loads of different things people can do. That's mental. That's why I basically stopped playing the game.
Yeah.
But I'm not one of them, although it looks like it. But yeah.
I saw on your Instagram as well, you were with Gerald Butler.
He came to one of the World Cup games. And then he actually came to training first in World Cup, and then he came to one of the games, a warm-up at my field. And it was pretty cool, man. He came into the change room afterwards, and I was like, man, this is unbelievable. And someone took a really cool photo of us. And I've put it on my Instagram. Yeah, people were obviously going mental. But no, man, he's a very nice guy. And I mean, that's the cool thing about sport is, having that opportunity of meeting someone like him, because, that doesn't often happen.
Not at all.
No, mate. And he's obviously, he's a great guy, and he loves rugby. Yeah, he loves it, mate. So hopefully we can have him around soon.
Yeah.
Which would be pretty cool.
Yeah, he was in one of the chippies down the road the other day, and there were so many people that took photos of him and like put it I was like, just leave the guy alone.
Just leave him, mate. 100%.
Yeah.
Like he just wants to come out, have his chippy.
Yeah.
Wants to go home.
Just leave him. Just
leave
with his
him.
fish and chips.
Oh my god.
It is like people are normal guys. Like I think that when people see you, like even you, like when people see you on the screen, they have this persona of what they think you'll be like.
Yeah.
And they kind of put you at a certain level. Like they do that with actors as well.
Yeah.
They think they know you despite not. Like
And
we're just normal guys.
Yeah. 100%.
It's such a weird thing. We have a closing tradition on the podcast. And I suppose with you, it would be, what is the biggest lesson you've learned over your sporting career? I deliberately don't prep people.
It's keep on believing in yourself, I would say. Keep on working hard towards something. There will be some tough times through that period, but I can basically promise you, if you keep on working hard, you will come out on top, and you'll be enjoying what you're doing, and hopefully you'll reap some rewards from that. And man, it's just basically keep on believing in yourself is probably the biggest thing I could say to someone.
Amazing.
Because at the end of the day, mate, it's you against you, right? Like, if you believe in yourself, you have the confidence, you'll go out there and deliver your best.
Absolutely. Well, listen, thank you so much, Duhan.
Thanks for having me, mate.
Do you prefer Duhan or Dewey?
Mate, there's so many. It's Duhan, Dewey, like Blair would say, Dwayne. I don't really mind, mate, whatever. Dewey, Duhan, Dwayne, whatever's easiest.
Well, absolute privilege, Dewey. Thanks so much.
Thanks so much, mate. Appreciate it.